Hello guys and welcome back to the 2023-24 SDPN NHL season previews. Today we're talking about the 2022 Stanley Cup champions in the Colorado Avalanche, seeing if they can get back to that level again in 2024. Now, after a disappointing first round loss to the Seattle Kraken, the Colorado Avalanche are hoping to be back at that amazing level they were at in 2022. But the big question is, can they actually get back to the Stanley Cup final? Can they actually get back to being a Stanley Cup winning team? Well, we're going to be finding that out with all their offseason additions to see what's next. But before we get to the preview, let's first shout out our sponsor today in Sports Interaction. Get in the action and bet with Sports Interaction. Baseball and a ton of other sports are going strong right now. You can bet before the game, live, and play with all your favorite teams. Go to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN or download the app to get started. 19 plus, and please play responsibly. Now, although Colorado has lost a lot of depth, they've also brought in a lot this offseason. First, Ross Colton being probably the best overall player they brought in as a center, 26 years old, likely will still be on that third line center role behind Johansson, but I think will be fantastic in that role. Likely one of the best third line centers in the league. With Tampa, he was that this last year, 32 points in 81 games. Just a solid two-way centerman that knows how to drive play, can play solid in the playoffs too. For Colorado, that could come in handy quite a bit. Ryan Johansson is going to be fascinating. We'll see how much he's able to give with Colorado. 28 points this last year, but 63 the year before that. Probably likely in the middle there, but alongside a couple of solid abs on that second line, maybe he's able to rebound there. Miles Wood is fascinating, a contract that is crazy to give out with the term, but could still be interesting on that middle six. And Jonathan Drouin, who could get first line minutes, but I mean, these last couple of years with the Habs has kind of been all over the place. A fantastic playmaker though, and we'll see if Colorado can utilize that. For the players that they got rid of this offseason, first was JT Compher, who went to the Detroit Red Wings on a big deal. He got 52 points this last year. That's going to be a really big loss as their true second line center beforehand. You also got Alex Newhook, who is a player that might not be the biggest loss for the Avs. This last year wasn't all too amazing, wasn't as impactful as he probably should have been, but in Montreal, we'll see if he does anything there. Lars Eller, also another center they got rid of. You got Darren Helm, who was some depth that also left the team. Denise Malgin signs in the NL after a really interesting stint with the Avs. Drew, of course, producer Drew absolutely loves the guy, as he probably should. Evan Rodrigues is a fascinating player to get rid of as well. He goes to Florida after getting 39 points in 69 games. And Eric Johnson as really the only big defensive piece going off the team this offseason. And even though the Avs did bring in a few solid pieces, they got rid of a lot of depth for a team that already didn't have the greatest depth in the world, and that could be a problem. Now, going on to my three players to watch, my first one is Jonathan Drouin, who comes into the season with Colorado potentially being given top 6 minutes, which is crazy to see. But even though Drouin has had, of course, all the health issues in the world, when he has played this last year for Montreal, he was solid in terms of the production. If you're not really asking for too much goal scoring, you could be pretty fascinated by what you get back. For my second player to watch, it is absolutely Ryan Johansson. Being on that second line center role, he's been going to give a lot of responsibility in Colorado's top 6. Will he be able to really handle it? We'll have to wait and see. There might be some reliance on the power play here, but still point production-wise, I still see him being okay. But for my third player to watch, and maybe the most fascinating player on the Avs to watch this next year, I got Bowen Byram. 22 years old, and of course, a former 4th overall pick back in 2019. This next year, being completely healthy is going to be the most important thing. When he was playing this last year, he got 24 points in 42 games, 3 points in 7 playoff games, but that health is really the biggest thing in question. If he is, that defense for Colorado looks spectacular, but he needs to have a full 82 games. That will be the biggest step for him. Now let's go through and grade what they got on forward, defense, and goaltending, and you see with the Avalanche, I would say their forward group is okay, but definitely weaker compared to the last couple of years. You still have some great options like McKinnon, Ronson, and Nichushkin, Lehkonen, but besides that, it's a lot of magic beans. Players like Johansson, players like Drouin, players like Wood. Getting the most out of those guys is going to be extremely important for this Avs forward group to be solid. I'm going to say a B-, especially when it comes to this McKinnon core and what they build around him, especially, of course, with Landeskog being away. It might be the weakest forward group he's ever had. And then you go into the defense, which might be by far the best part of this Avs team, and you look at what they're able to roll out with Taves and Makar and how amazingly good in every part of the ice that duo is. If Byram's able to stay healthy, he could be really interesting on that pair of Manson. And then you got Jack Johnson and Samuel Girard. We'll see how they fit. That might be, I guess, the weaker link, but still having Girard on your bottom pair is really quite fascinating. That top 4 is amazing, though. That top pair is maybe the best in the league. They get a straight A for the D. And then going on to the goaltending, which isn't going to light the world on fire or anything, but it's still quite solid. Georgiev was great for the Avs last year, and just like I thought he would be in that big role as a starter on a pretty solid defense, he was going to thrive, and he absolutely did, even though if there were some inconsistencies there. You also got Pavel Francouz, who is a solid backup there too, and can hold up his own when he really needs to. I give the goaltending team a straight B. Honestly, one of the more underrated ones in the NHL. For me, though, absolutely the biggest question mark will be how much will that lost depth come back to bite them? When you look at that forward group especially, there are a lot of guys that are gone that I think could have been huge for this Avs team and could have gotten huge opportunities. Players like Evan Rodrigues being gone is massive for them. And I think for the Avs, they did an okay job at replacing that, but it wasn't anything absolutely spectacular. If they're able to come up, though, if players like Wood are able to play fantastic, players like Jonathan Drouin, then it'll be a much lesser problem. But to me, this is absolutely the biggest worry heading in. As for the standings prediction, I see them getting 102 to 106 points in the year, second in the Central Division. Still fantastic, still one of the better teams in the NHL, though maybe not quite as powerful regular season-wise as they have been before. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of the Avalanche in this upcoming season? Do you see them making the playoffs? Do you see them maybe missing? Do you see the depth coming back to bite them? What do you think about the forwards, the defense, the goaltending, and how far do you guys see them going in the playoffs this next year? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Of course, make sure you share the video with all the hockey fans you guys know online. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you guys are enjoying the breakdowns and enjoying the season previews. 32 teams in 32 days, and next up will be the Columbus Blue Jackets. We'll see you there. Have a great day, and goodbye.